All right. Our next guest was, you may have read newspaper articles about him during the time of Trump's travel ban, actually. He was the only refugee admitted to the US from Libya in 2016. So we are very excited to have him here this evening. Please, a round of applause for Has Agili.
Around the end of June 2016, I arrived to this country for first time. I was walking around West Village where I live, and I was looking at these rainbow flags and loud music and half-naked men. And I say to myself, girl, you landed in the best place. Um, it's it was a quite a welcome for someone like me with my backstory, and it was like a fairy tale. I loved it. I I was sitting one day in the doorsteps of the place where I live, and I saw two men walking toward me, holding hands, and they stopped a few steps away from me and start kissing each other. Um, I've never seen something like that right there in the middle of the street in the daylight. It This rush of emotion came to me, and it was unbelievable. I felt um, happy, free, and a bit aroused. Um, I mean, imagine spending 4.5 months in a refugee camp in the east of Slovakia before getting here. That was a really dry spell there. So growing up in Libya was very challenging. wasn't an easy thing. Um, I always thought I was different. I never felt I belonged there. To put it right, maybe they did not make me feel I belonged there. Um, I had different interests. I remember when I started my fascinations with languages, and I was watching CNN, and I was really focused and concentrated, and I just wanted to pick up a word that I understand. And I think it was an interview or a speech by Hillary Clinton. She used to be a first lady back then in the 90s. And I was waiting to pick up that word, and then I heard her say family. And I thought, she actually said family. She didn't say family like I thought I was in school. So I went back to school. I was waiting for that day that this word would come up, um, so I can, show off. And that day came, and I was reading, and I looked at that word, and I saw like it's coming, and I swear I could hear like a countdown in my head, like 3, 2, 1, has go, and I went for it with the full donation, like family. And the whole class was laughing at me. The teacher was angry and flipped out, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, just this is how you." She said, "Why are you pronouncing it this way?" And I said, "This is how you should pronounce it." And she said, "No, you should pronounce it the way I thought you do." And I told her, "Well, no, I should pronounce it the way I hear it on CNN. That's the right way." So that got me into trouble, and sent to the principal office and all that. But being stubborn I am, like my dad's son, I decided from that day that every time I hear a word on TV, I will just say it that way, not the way they taught us in school. And that's how I picked up the accent and picked up the language in the first place. Um, I used to go to medical school. I was studying to be a surgeon. I was one exam away from graduating, and somebody I thought was a friend of mine outed me there. And things were never the same since. Everything changed. I tried to work it out, I tried to fight back, but I realized that I cannot change the whole culture and beliefs by myself. And but I also thought that I'm not going to let that culture change me or change who I am. In a very dark night in 2014, it was summer. It was dark because we had no electricity for about 9 hours. And I was, just arrived home from a 13 hours work day. I was devastated and very tired and sad. The morning of that day, I saw a video of a friend of mine from the east of the country was dragged through the streets and being put in the middle of soccer stadium, and he was beheaded right there, and just because he was gay. Few days after that, I left the country. I left my home, and I spent the next 2 years in Lebanon. Here I was at the United Nations offices applying for my asylum, my refugee status. I was in the office doing one of the tens of interviews that I had to go through. And the irony was that I spent all my life hiding the fact that I was gay. And now I was in a place where I have to prove that I'm gay. And I could not just say to the officer, drop off your pants, I show you how gay I am. I cannot do that. You cannot do that. So that was one of the hardest things that I had to do. How can you prove to somebody who you are? That's just ridiculous. Few months and year passed by, and then I had a really nice call in the really early morning, and someone told me that I was picked up for resettlement in the U.S. And they told me that if I know anybody here, bring their information for the interview. And I was thinking, who do I know here? I remembered meeting Andrew Solomon, who the writer for the New York Times, and back in Libya 10 years ago, back then. And I met him through my professor, and he gave me his business card, and he said, if you ever need anything, let me know. So I reached out to my wallet, and I took that business card for 10 years and emailed Andrew, and Andrew was amazing. He helped me get here. Him and his family has been housing me since I arrived to stand on my feet and made me part of their family. My story broke out in the media back in 2017 when they realized that, or they found out that I was the only Libyan refugee in 2016. And actually, I'm still the only one because that program is shut. It doesn't work anymore. So I decided I'm going to come out on CNN because, after all I went through, this is exactly how you should do it. And so I did that, and I had this backlash, and it went back home. It was viral. I almost lost my family. I lost the rest of my friends who I had back there. I received a lot of hate, and I also received love and support. I remember particularly I received this message from this person in social media, and he said, quote, I'm a Republican conservative, and I welcome you here. And I also want to lick all over your fuzzy body and face. I think he was flirting. That's what I tell myself. So. I also heard from Libyan kids, gay young kids who reached out to me and said, I am their hero, and how much my story actually inspired them and give them hope for the future. So that was really worthwhile. I walk around the city here, and I really cannot believe that I'm here. It's so real. It's amazing. The energy, people. I started dating a guy lately. Sitting here somewhere. I don't want to put him in a spot. So. And we walk around the city, holding hands sometimes, and sometimes he stops and kisses me. And I always feel the same. I feel happy, free, and a bit aroused. Thank you and good night.
Pass Agili. Pass, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Wow.